What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Seth Rollins breaks his silence on CM Punk's return, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin also weigh in on CM Punk's return, is CM Punk a free agent, Tony Khan can't comment on Punk's return, Matt Riddle throws shade on Punk's return, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new website, Wrestlelamia.com. And now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story is the talk of the town. On top of today's news is of course CM Punk's return to WWE at Survivor Series and what's next for the Second City Saint and the world's reaction to his return. Well, first let's look at Seth Rollins breaking his silence on CM Punk's return. Is Seth Rollins really upset with CM Punk's return to WWE? If you've been following the news surrounding Punk's return at Survivor Series, you'll likely seen the video showing Seth Rollins having a meltdown following Punk's return. The video appears to show Rollins flipping Punk off while Seth was being restrained by WWE officials from going after him. While there are different thoughts on Rollins' reaction to Punk's return, with some believing it's a work while others believing Seth was legit angry, it's believed Rollins addressed Punk's return with the following comments the World Heavyweight Champion made at a live event. "I'm not going to waste any more breath on anyone who's been gone for 8 years, has done nothing but try to tear this place down. I want to use my breath to talk about the people who worked to make WWE the hottest ticket in town. The universe will have to wait and see how things play out with Punk and Rollins, which is exactly what the WWE wants its fans to do. Do you think they'll book a program between Punk and the Visionary? Would you guys like to see it happen? Let us know in the comments down below." Next up, The Rock and Steve Austin on Punk's return. Now, there have been many reactions to Punk's return, including two from The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Both superstars took to social media and liked the story of Punk's return. In addition, Fightful Select is reporting that Bayley and Kofi Kingston were happy to see Punk back and that the WWE filmed some reactions for its digital content. Next up, is Punk a free agent? Is CM Punk going to end up on Raw or SmackDown? While fans expecting to see on tonight's Raw, Fightful Select is reporting there was talk of Punk being a free agent, but he is scheduled for Raw. Indeed, the Patreon site notes, much of WWE Raw was already planned without CM Punk, so rewrites for the show are in order to fit him in. It makes perfect sense for the WWE to treat Punk as a free agent as his presence is set to spike ratings. Why would the WWE limit Punk to one show, at least initially, when he can interact on Raw and SmackDown? We don't know what programs Punk will be involved in, although some fans believe Shinsuke Nakamura's recent mystery messages were directed at Punk. However, it's unknown if they'll work together, at least right now. One of the more interesting things about Punk's return will be his impact on WWE's ratings. The ratings have been up for some time, and while Monday Night Football continues to dominate the ratings on Monday night, Raw has done okay with the all-important 18-49. Surely Punk's return will help Raw further, but if so, by how much? An equally important question is how long Punk's return will spike ratings. Will fans get tired of his return, or is it something that WWE can utilize to create must-see programming? If so, the WWE's investment of Punk could really pay off. Next up, Tony Khan can't comment on Punk's return. Well, the AEW president was recently interviewed by the BBC's Steve Herman, and when Herman asked about Punk's WWE return, he told him, "Can't talk about that, nor do I think it's the time and the place. I appreciate you asking. I'm very excited about AEW All In at Wembley Stadium. Not to dodge your question, but it's something I legally can't talk about." Do Khan's comments mean that there's some sort of non-disclosure agreement in place surrounding Punk's AEW exit? If so, is there something similar with Punk? If Punk shows up on the 27th November Raw as expected, it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, he says about his time in AEW. While it's unlikely WWE will give AEW any free advertising by mentioning the promotion's name, there are plenty of ways to discuss it without uttering the initials AEW. Next up, did Triple H criticize Jade Cargill's AEW training? Speaking of knocking the competition, did Triple H criticize Jade Cargill's training during a time in AEW? Triple H commented on Cargill's progress in the WWE during the post-Survivor Series press conference, telling the media, "Jade I have no less belief in her now than I did then. It's interesting, when she came in, we talked about her development and where she would land, but what the development was, I want to make sure that no matter what is thrown at Jade Cargill, she's ready." There have been rumblings amongst some fans as to why WWE paraded Cargill around in backstage segments on WWE TV, only to have Jade disappear from TV. This has led to rumors that WWE may have second thoughts about whether she's ready to compete on TV, either on NXT or on the main roster. While nothing official has been said, Triple H did point out, And no fault of her own, I think she was limited in that. So the idea was we exposed her, we made her be seen. People are understanding and they're waiting and they're excited for her to come, and when she does, it's gonna be massive. Is Triple H insinuating that Cargill's training wasn't enough to get her ready for WWE? That's subject to interpretation. However, if the WWE feels Cargill wasn't ready, why did they sign her? She competed in AEW for nearly 3 years and her abilities should have been obvious to anyone watching her. While it's clear she was learning on the job and being protected in her matches, the idea that the WWE signed her without no idea about her abilities is kinda laughable. Next up, Cody Rhodes' touching tribute to Randy Orton. Randy Orton's return was an emotional experience for many fans, but fans weren't the only ones who became emotional. Cody Rhodes discussed Randy's return during the Survivor Series post-show press conference, saying, "At the end of the match, Randy said to me, 'Thanks for the phone call. I always wanted to tell him thanks for my career. I keep thinking this is gonna end, right? And I couldn't have got to where I had if not been around Randy. Randy is so many wild, chaotic, and you hear all these funny stories about him and all this nonsense.'" Cody's got the massive rub when the WWE paired him with Randy Orton as part of the Vipers faction, The Legacy, and while it took Cody time to get to the level he is now, the American Nightmare pointed out Orton's impact on him. But as a performer, a professional wrestler, a WWE superstar, what an outstanding mentor he was to me. Truly, I'll never forget standing in the ring at the Royal Rumble when he won, pointing at the Wrestlemania sign and just thinking like, I want to be like him. And that's just as nice as I'm going to get about it. I was really touched. Next up, 10 more years for Randy Orton. Another interesting takeaway from Survivor Series was Randy Orton apparently letting fans know he wants to stick around for 10 more years. This is great to know as Randy didn't skip a single beat at Survivor Series. Next up, big change coming for the Young Bucks. It looks like the Young Bucks are about to do more than just turn heel. A new report from the Wrestling Observer states that Brothers Jackson are going to undergo a metamorphosis as well. The Young Bucks are obviously being repackaged as heel and will be playing into their negativity like they did years ago with the Killing Business and Spot Monkey merchandise. They've trademarked KTB Wrestling, Killing the Business Wrestling for merch and Super Dick Party, although KTB is not part of the AEW stable idea and right now is for outside AEW projects. Meltzer mused that the Bucks may be reuniting with an old partner in crime. They look to be doing a heel group with Brandon Cutler. Colt Cabana's name has been mentioned, but that doesn't appear to be a certainty. The idea is for them to take some time off and come back as heels with major impact. It's the beginning stages and there's no known time frame on when they'll be pulled the trigger on it and they will return. BT is also apparently gone on hiatus during this period. But it appears it's actually going on for more than a hiatus, as Meltzer explained. We'll write more about this in the coming weeks, but the BT is not on hiatus, it's actually done. As of this point in time, there are no plans to bring it back. Given Nick and Matt Jackson's proficiency at utilizing social media to get themselves over, it seems unlikely that they won't tap into the medium in some way to further their characters, even if it means something different than being the elite. Next up, Orton and Punk are top merchandise sellers. As CM Punk isn't the only superstar who returned at Survivor Series, as Randy Orton made his long-awaited return to compete in the men's War Games match. Orton received a hero's welcome, and based on some merchandise sales, the WWE's universe is excited about his return and Punk's. WWE Shop's top merch movers are currently CM Punk and Randy Orton. And finally, Matt Riddle shades Punk's return. It seems like everyone has an opinion on CM Punk's return, including recently released superstar Matt Riddle, who shared this delightful message on X. "Hey WWE, you thought I was hard to deal with? Have fun with 0 and 2 CM Punk." Obviously, Matt Riddle got roasted in the comments, saying at least that CM Punk wasn't 0 and 2 on passing the wellness test. But there you have it folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.